The year is believed to be 623 BC in the Shakya kingdom, when a prince was born in the sacred garden of Lumbini, but he was no ordinary prince. They named him Siddhartha Gautama. Prince Siddhartha's incredible journey was to begin in the sacred garden of Lumbini. Legend has it that his mother, Queen Maya Devi, while traveling from Tilorakot, the capital of Shakya kingdom, gave birth to him in Lumbini when she was on her way to her maternal home in Devdaha. It was here that the newborn infant took his first 7 steps toward the east, beginning a path to enlightenment, which would change humankind. He would be known to the world as Lord Buddha.
Hello and a warm welcome, venerable members of the Sangha, distinguished guests, fellow Buddhists and friends in the Dharma. We are honoured to welcome you to this auspicious occasion of Vesak, celebrating the Buddha's birth, enlightenment and passing. My name is Jenny and I will be one of the MCs for today's event.
Nam Mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Kính bạch chư tôn hòa thượng, chư thượng tọa, đại đức tăng ni. Kính thưa quý đồng hương Phật tử và quý đạo hữu. Chúng con xin kính chào tất cả nhân đại lễ Phật Đản, kỷ niệm đản sanh giác ngộ và niết bàn của Đức Phật. Chúng con tên là Y Lan.
Before we begin our program, I would like to acknowledge the Gandhara people, who are the traditional custodians of this land. I would like to pay respects to both elders past and present and extend that respect to other Aboriginal people present.
Chúng con xin cảm ơn những bậc tiền bối đã thành lập nên quốc gia này, cảm ơn những vị đã gìn giữ truyền thống của lãnh thổ này và lòng tôn trọng đối với những người thổ dân trong quá khứ và cũng như hiện tại.
2,644 years ago, Prince Siddhartha, the son of King Suddhodana and Queen Maya, was born in Lumbini, Nepal. Growing up, Prince Siddhartha realized that conditioned experiences could not provide lasting happiness or protection from suffering in birth, old age, sickness and death. He left behind his gold and jewels and palace life in search for a way to escape the suffering of life. After several years of spiritual searching and deep meditation, he achieved the state of unconditional and lasting happiness, the state of enlightenment. He had understood the origin of suffering in living beings and the means in which to overcome suffering in life and escape the cycle of birth, death and rebirth. He is called the Lord Shakyamuni Buddha, meaning the Enlightened One. From there, he opens the path of teaching sentient beings to enlighten themselves, to transform defilements, purifying their mind and body, and be enlightened like him. His teachings of compassion, wisdom, and equality helped people to lead a peaceful, happy, and fearless life. Therefore, every year, in the 4th month of the lunar calendar, Buddhists around the world rejoice to celebrate Buddha's birthday to commemorate his enlightenment and his passing.
Cách nay 2644 năm, Thái tử Tất Đạt Đa, con vua Tịnh Phạn và hoàng hậu Maya đã thị hiện ra đời tại Đông Lâm Tỳ Ni, nay thuộc Nepal. Khi trưởng thành, Ngài trăn trở với nỗi khổ của kiếp nhân sinh, sanh, già, bệnh, chết, nên Ngài rời cung vàng điện ngọc, tìm phương giải cứu chúng sanh. Cuối cùng, Ngài đã thấu hiểu triệt chân lý, rõ biết nguồn gốc của đau khổ và phương pháp diệt trừ đau khổ, thoát khỏi sanh tử luân hồi, thành Phật hiệu là Thích Ca Mâu Ni. Từ đó, Ngài mở ra con đường dạy chúng sanh, soi sáng tự thân để chuyển hóa phiền não, tịnh hóa thân tâm và được giác ngộ như Ngài. Giáo lý từ bi, trí tuệ và bình đẳng của Ngài giúp cho con người có được cuộc sống bình an, hạnh phúc và không sợ hãi. Vì thế hàng năm vào tháng 4 âm lịch, những người con Phật trên toàn thế giới hân hoan tổ chức đón mừng Phật Đản để tưởng nhớ và tri ân bậc Đại Giác Thế Tôn đản sanh, thành đạo và nhập niết bàn.
This year, due to the impact of the COVID pandemic, Phuoc Hue Temple will not hold Vesak celebrations on its temple grounds. We have therefore continued our Vesak celebration online. Vesak is a moment for all Buddhists from all traditions around the world to come together with the same heart and to celebrate and remember the Lord Buddha's compassion, wisdom, and teachings. In that spirit, we respectfully greet venerable members of the Sangha from around the globe and all fellow Buddhists to come join us in this event. Now we would like to go through the 2644th Buddhist birthday celebration program.
Năm nay, trước sự ảnh hưởng của đại dịch COVID-19 đến toàn thế giới, các tu viện, chùa, tịnh xá không thể tổ chức lễ tưởng niệm tại đạo tràng địa phương nơi mình cư trú như hàng năm. Thay vào đó, một số tu viện tổ chức lễ Phật Đản online. Tuy buổi lễ không được long trọng, nhưng đây là cơ hội để tất cả người con Phật trên toàn thế giới cùng một lúc, đồng một lòng cùng với đạo tràng đang tổ chức, hướng về đấng từ phụ Thích Ca, tổ chức đại lễ Phật Đản và cảm ơn Ngài đã đem ánh sáng tuệ giác soi khắp thế gian. Trong tinh thần đó, chúng con xin kính chào chư tôn đức tăng ni khắp năm châu và quý đồng hương Phật tử. Sau đây chúng con xin thông qua chương trình lễ Phật Đản lần thứ 2644 online.
Let us have a minute of silence to pray for the victims of war, natural disasters, and COVID-19, and pray for world peace and harmony, and to remember the merits of the patriarch and founder of Phuoc Hue Temple, the late Most Venerable Phuoc Hue.
Sau đây là một phút nhập từ bi quán để cầu nguyện cho các nạn nhân chiến tranh, thiên tai, bệnh dịch COVID-19 khắp mọi nơi và cầu nguyện cho thế giới hòa bình, chúng sanh an lạc và tưởng nhớ đến công ơn chư liệt vị tổ sư, cố đại lão hòa thượng tượng Phước Hạ Huệ, tông trưởng Phước Huệ Sơn môn học phái và cũng là vị hòa thượng khả kính khai sơn tổ đình Phước Huệ.
The Buddha taught every Buddhist to remember the four noble gifts: the grace of the parents, the gift of your teacher, the gift of your nation, and the gift of beings. Thanks to the Australian government and its people, we are able to live in peace.
Phật dạy hàng đệ tử Phật phải nhớ 4 ơn, đó là ơn cha mẹ, ơn thầy tổ, ơn quốc phụ và ơn chúng sanh. Nhờ sự lãnh đạo của quốc chủ mà dân chúng được cuộc sống an bình.
We now read the congratulatory messages from the various leaders of the Australian government. First message is from the Prime Minister of Australia, Honourable Scott Morrison.
Chúng tôi xin đọc những thông điệp chúc mừng của các vị lãnh đạo. Trước nhất là thông điệp của Thủ tướng Úc, ông Scott Morrison.
A message from the Prime Minister of Australia, the Honourable Scott Morrison. eVesak is usually a time of special celebration for Buddhists across the world. It is a time of prayer and quiet reflection, as well as generosity and devotion. However, this year will be very different as we all experience a global health crisis. It is an unprecedented crisis, a once-in-a-century event. It requires every single one of us to be mindful of our civic duty. All of us have a role to play in keeping our community safe. Employers, nurses, doctors, teachers, scientists, friends, family, and neighbours. I know we will rise to the challenge. I know we can draw on deep wells of courage and compassion, each of us strengthened by our families, our neighbours, our trust in each other, and our hope of better days. Life has changed, and it will continue to change in the months ahead. But Australians are remarkably resilient people, and we are working together with a new sense of purpose. Though we cannot gather together in our places of worship or congregate in public celebration, we can be together in spirit. We can draw strength from the values of compassion, charity, kindness, and respect that I know the Buddhist community upholds. They are values that the world now needs more than ever as we look forward to better days. I wish Australia's Buddhist community all the best for a healthy and peaceful eVesak, and thank you for all you give to Australia, this special place we call home.
The next message is from the leader of the Australian Labor Party, Mr. Anthony Albanese.
Tiếp theo là thông điệp của thủ lãnh đảng lao động Úc, ông Anthony Albanese.
A message from the leader of the Australian Labor Party, the Honourable Anthony Albanese. It is with great pleasure that I send you my warmest greetings for the Australian observance of the Day of eVesak. It is a day of significance as the light of the full moon gives the sign to commemorate the birth, enlightenment and passing of Sakyamuni Gautama Buddha. The many centuries since his passing have, if anything, served to emphasize the timelessness, the value and the power of his wisdom. It is also a reminder of what a welcome part of the Australian family that the Buddhist community is. You are an intrinsic part of who we are as a nation. We celebrate both the differences of our many parts and our great strength as a whole. The Day of eVesak is an important part of that. Of course, as with so many other events this year, this Day of eVesak will be different due to the disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Yet, as the great celebration goes online this year, with meditation and chanting drawn together from 3 Buddhist traditions, it will be another reminder that even as the pandemic has pushed us apart physically for now, it has also in many ways brought us together. On behalf of my colleagues, I wish you the best on this auspicious day.
The next message is from Federal Member of Macmahon, New South Wales, the Honourable Chris Bowen.
Thượng nghị sĩ vùng McMahon, ông Chris Bowen.
A message from Federal Member of McMahon, New South Wales. The Honourable Chris Bowen. I wish to extend my warmest wishes to the Buddhists in Australia and around the world in their celebration of Vesak, a day honouring the birth, enlightenment and passing of Buddha. During this time, we reflect on the Buddhist teachings of peace, good works and love, shared values that bind all Australians. While I know that the occasion this year will be limited due to the social distancing rules, I'd like to send my best wishes to all Buddhists as they join together in the spirit of hope, for wisdom, courage and compassion.
We would now like to bring the message from the Federal Member of Fowler and Chief Opposition, the Honourable Chris Hayes.
Tiếp tục phần thông điệp là thông điệp của Thượng nghị sĩ vùng Fowler, ông Chris Hayes.
A message from Federal Member for Fowler, Chief Opposition Whip, the Honourable Chris Hayes. I extend my warmest wishes to the Australian Buddhist community on the occasion of Vesak Day. Vesak Day is one of the most important events in the Buddhist calendar. It is a time for the Buddhist community to come together and commemorate the birth, enlightenment, and the passing of Lord Buddha. I have great respect for this ancient religion and believe the wider community can learn much from the values of harmony, compassion, and loving kindness that Buddhism teaches. This time of year reminds us of the important contribution that the Australian Buddhist community have made to our nation. I am proud of our Australian story, a modern multicultural Australia, and this is something for all of us to celebrate. The Australian Buddhist community has played a constructive role in fostering a more inclusive and harmonious society. Your resilience and hard work, willingness to give back, and generous nature is a display of the true Australian spirit. Normally, a Vesak Day is a time of social interaction, celebrated in the temples and with families and friends. However, this unprecedented situation brought about by the coronavirus pandemic will mean that Vesak Day will be observed very differently this year and will no doubt be an immensely challenging time for Australian Buddhist community. To the Australian Buddhist community, I ask that our prayers be for peace, health and the well-being of our community, particularly in these difficult times.
The next message is from the Premier of New South Wales, the Honourable Gladys Berejiklian.
Thủ hiến New South Wales, bà Gladys Berejiklian.
A message from the Premier of New South Wales, the Honourable Gladys Berejiklian. It is a great pleasure to wish Buddhists in New South Wales a happy, safe and healthy Vesak, or Buddha Day, celebrating the birth, teachings and the life of the Buddha during the full moon in May. Vesak is an opportunity to thank our Buddhist communities for their service to our state. The Buddhist values of compassion and peace for all are particularly relevant as our community works together to prevent the spread of COVID-19. On behalf of the people of New South Wales, I wish all followers of this teaching a joyous and inspiring Buddha Day.
We will now deliver the message from the State Member for Prospect, Mr. Hugh McDermott.
Dân biểu vùng Prospect, ông Hugh McDermott.
A message from State Member for Prospect, Mr. Hugh McDermott. Thank you to the Venerable Thích Phước Đản and Phuoc Hue Temple for inviting me to share a message with you as part of our community's Vesak celebrations. Although we are unable to gather together to celebrate and observe Vesak, this does not diminish the importance of these celebrations. I join with you to honour the birth, enlightenment and passing of Lord Buddha. Lord Buddha spoke a universal message of peace and compassion. This compassion is needed now more than ever. Compassion for those who are suffering, compassion for those who have lost their loved ones, and compassion for those who are facing hardships in their lives. These are difficult times. Our world has fundamentally changed since the start of this year. We can, however, all find solace in our faith. Buddhism has lessons relevant to each day and every Australian. I hope that we can learn from Lord Buddha's teaching and build a just world with peace, compassion and welfare for all. I wish the Australian Vietnamese Buddhist community all the best with the eVesak celebrations. We may not be able to gather in person, but we can be together in spirit to mark this important occasion.
We will deliver the message from the State Member for Cabramatta, Mr. Nick Lalich.
Nhân Việt biểu vùng Cabramatta, ông Nick Lalich.
A message from State Member of Cabramatta, Mr. Nick Lalich. Welcome everyone to this very important occasion for the Buddhist community, not only in Cabramatta but around the world as we celebrate the birth and founder of Buddhism. Traditionally, this is a time for those of the Buddhist faith to come together and reflect on the teaching of Buddha and to spread happiness and positivity in community. Like many of you, I look forward to visiting the Phuoc Hue Temple each year to celebrate one of the most beautiful religious ceremonies, the bathing with the Buddha. I congratulate all of you celebrating at home this year, and while social distancing is imperative, it is also important that we maintain our cultural practices, as this is what makes us unique as a community. The words, "May I eliminate all evil thoughts, may I cultivate good deeds, may I help save all living beings," are very valuable lessons, which are even more relevant today for all people. Buddhist festivals and ceremonies have enriched and blessed Cabramatta, and I thank you, the organisers of today's celebration, who have worked hard during this tough time. Thank you to Venerable Thích Phước Đản and Venerable Thích Phước Quảng, who are remarkable role models for the Phuoc Hue Temple and our community. I wish all of you good health, prosperity and good fortune. May the purity of today's ceremony stay with all of us throughout the year and continue to enrich our lives.
Lastly, we have a message from the Mayor of Fairfield City, Councillor Frank Camboni.
Sau cùng là thông điệp của thị trưởng thành phố Fairfield, Nghị viên Frank Camboni.
Hi everyone, today is the celebration of eVesak Day, and what an important celebration it is. Our community comes from across the globe, and with them they have brought their own religions. In celebrating eVesak Day, we celebrate the birthday of Buddha, more than 2,500 years old. Buddha was born in the Lumbini Gardens in Nepal. Our community is a very diverse community. These traditions are really important to us all. Not only if you're Buddhist, it doesn't matter where you come from, celebrating our traditions is what has provided the foundation of our community in what we are today. And I want to mention in particular the Phuoc Hue Temple and everyone there. It's a day that I'm missing to be with all of you to celebrate the special occasion. I'm sure we'll come together in celebrating Buddha's birthday next year. I want to wish everyone a very happy eVesak Day and a happy Buddha's birthday.